been up all night. There's no one around here. We've had them all lined up against the wall.
If it was a tow bag from around a manor, we'd know.
We'd know.
You know! You fucking know! You wouldn't have us next door fucking neighbours! Now get out there and find them! I'm sick of that fucking sight! Get out of my fucking sight! You little shit!
Emotional damage.
So, full time at Goodison Park yesterday in a 12:30 kickoff. Everton won, Arsenal won, and yeah, more points dropped. Champions League is all we've got. Match reaction. Let's go. So the Champions League is literally all we've got left now, as we moved 11 points behind Liverpool, with Liverpool playing later on this afternoon or in a couple of hours' time. Yeah. What did I tell you, man, about this month of April? I told you Arteta likes the month of April, didn't I? Did I not say Arteta loves the month of April? April is the month of goofiness. Now, we went 1-0 up against Everton at Goodison Park, yeah? Broke away, counter-attack FC, Sterling with an assist, Trossard with a goal. At half-time, Arteta just couldn't wait. He couldn't wait. Yeah? He could not wait. Let me throw on Martinelli and Saka straight away. Let me take Big E, Wanyeri, and Sterling, who created the goal. Let's take them off because we've got Madrid coming up. Pray for Madrid, mate. Now you would have thought that he would have, let's say he started Saka and Martinelli and took them off and brought on Sterling and Wanyeri. You'd have thought that would happen because Madrid's coming up. See how ass backwards? See how ass backwards he is. He didn't need to do that double substitution at half time. Didn't need to do that. So unless I'm missing something, unless Biggie got injured, or unless Sterling got injured, I don't know why he felt the need, because Everton weren't doing all too much from what I was watching. They had chances though, but you know, this is what I mean. I told you when Saka's back, Biggie, that's it. Man like Wanyeri, it's see you later. You know what I mean? Yanked him off at half time. It's not like any of them two are going to start against Real Madrid, is it? You know what I mean? That's the killer. If Wanyeri and Sterling were guaranteed starters against Real Madrid, like Saka and Martinelli are, you look at it and think, right, he's trying to save them now. He's trying to save, he's giving them 45 minutes of football. Now let's rest them so that when Real Madrid come calling at the Emirates, we've got them ready. No, the players that are guaranteed to start that game, yeah, let me bring them on. We weren't losing the game, we were winning the game, and he decides to make that double substitution. Now, I'm not saying that's the reason why we didn't win this game, but I'm just pointing out, because y'all have heard me all year now talk about the month of April is Arteta's goofiness month. And I said he will do something which you think to yourself, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Brings on a half-fit Saka, right? Because yes, if you're not starting games because you just come back from injury, you're half-fit, in my opinion. You're clearly not fit enough to start. You know what I mean? If you're only playing 45 minutes because you came back from injury, you're half-fit. He thought, yeah, let me just yank off Wanyeri. Never mind that, you know, him and Sterling, that's that playing against Everton, them starting against Everton, and them potentially playing a full 90 minutes or at least 75. That's all they're going to get in recent times because they ain't seen Real Madrid. Sterling ain't starting against Real Madrid. Neither is Wanyeri. You know what I mean? This is where he starts Saka now. This is what it is, isn't it? I mean, we can't even beat Everton. The title race, as I said, I told you guys way back in August when we drew against Brighton at home, I knew there's more of that to come. All I've seen online is Arsenal fans crying about the referee and you know, because they got the penalty, did everything through Lewis Skelly. Yeah. Skelly is going to be one of them players that's going to be, he's going to be a liability because of shit like that. He'll do something, it might not be a penalty or whatever, but there's already a target on his back now. You know what I mean? Man strolls up to the England, you know, training ground or whatever, and he's already getting hit. He did the Haaland celebration, and you had spicy Blackburn fans, aka Liverpool fans, going on as if, you know, we did it to them. And it's like, hang on. Man City, the team that kept spanking you, man, for the league title and everything like that, yeah? We humbled them, and you're getting on our case for it? You know what I mean? So now, if Skelly breathes on someone, there's a chance now they're going to look at it and say, well, is that a red card? You know what I mean? That's why I think he's going to end up being, in some cases, a liability. Not that he's not a good player or anything like that. It's just shit like that. He brings on Tini later on in the game. There's super tests. And Tini, yet again, creates the best chance of the game. Every single time he comes on, he whips in a cross that nobody else in this team can do, by the way. Every single time, and we're about to see that leave because Super Text doesn't rate him. Super Text doesn't rate Tini like that. You know what I mean? I would start Tini against Real Madrid, but guess who's not going to do that? Hands down, Tini for me starts against Real Madrid. Hands down. But you what? You know what I mean? He ain't seen that game like that. You know what I mean? My biggest worry about Real Madrid is if the game's not going their way and we're frustrating them, right? It's just going to take the clothing to brush past one of their players and they'll go down and, oh, no, that's a penalty, that's a free kick, that's a red card, That's my biggest worry. You know what I mean? I worry that man like Skelly might do something stupid. I worry about shit like that. Now, Kivior had a good game against Everton. Now, what we know about Kivior is he'll have one good game here, and in this game, it's like it's like goldfish, a goldfish memory. I can't remember how to defend. From what I saw in the formation, and I'll have a look at it again, just to be sure. It looks like Ben White played as our centre back while Kivior played at right back. Oh no, he changed it now. That's not what I saw before. I was gonna say that can't have been right because I saw Ben White on the right. You know what I mean? But Kivior, he had a good game against Everton. I think man of the match. I haven't got a problem with Kivior playing. Obviously, Gabriel's injured. I haven't got a problem with it. It's just now I just hope that he keeps this up. You know what I mean? Because I personally think I think Kivior's better than what we think. It's just that if you're not getting game time, you ain't going to see it. Freeze out Gabriel Saliba as much as Kivior's frozen out. You know what I mean? You think you'll see the same levels? if they're not getting consistent games. You know what I mean? But with that being said, though, even with Tini not being in this team enough, I mean, he's still that guy that can just whip in a cross. He's still a good left back. He's still, you know what I mean? He still maintains that. So, you know. But yeah, Everton get the penalty to score their goal, and we can't do anything again. Other guy comes on and does what? I mean, let me just have a look at the let me just have a look exactly over because I obviously I watching the game. I had to put it on my phone because I had to get ready because I went to the we'll go into the boxing fight last night. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is why are you taking off Wanyeri and Sterling at halftime? You know what I mean? To bring on Martinelli and Saka, who ultimately did nothing. You know what I mean? I told you, like, somebody who's not good at something, they rely on shit. They rely on some shit. That's just how it is. You know, you're playing computer games with your friend, your sibling, or whatever, and they're not very good at it, but they know how to use the special attacks, so they keep using the special attacks because they don't know how to control the game. That's Arteta with Arsenal. You know what I mean? So Saka and Martinelli was supposed to, you know, rescue us. You know what I mean? 49 minutes now. Everton get equaliser. Honestly. Big up to old school Gunnar. All right, man. Arteta is and has been wrong, man, for the job for a long time. Come on, you Gunners. He has. So let's. Yep, I'm gonna favorite your comment. Big up to you. Big up to Rod as well. Rod in the building. I'm Warren. Big up to Warren in the building. I mentally checked out this season. Don't blame you. Big up to Scott Kirk. Yeah, let's give Kivio an 8-year contract. Ben was poor, but understandable with the time off. Big up to Andy as well. By the way, YG Arteta is staying for the 6th year, so fasten your seatbelt. Yep. Timber should play centre back against Real Madrid. I personally, I'd still start Kivio. I ain't gonna lie. I'd still start him. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people where it's like, okay, I'm getting some games now. You know, just allow me to have some games, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be mad if Arteta started Kivio at centre back. I won't be mad at it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Kivio's a centre back. You know what I mean? It's you know how is a player gonna ever be? How's a player gonna get to a certain form if he's just not gonna start games that he should start off the situation of that player's injured, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Coutinho is just a traditional left back. We could do with someone being a traditional left back that starts week in, week out. You know what I mean? The Chelsea United YouTubers too. Big up to Kurt as well. Don't worry, Real Madrid lost to Valencia, so Arsenal should easily beat them. Yeah, I know. I've seen that they lost to Valencia and Vinicius missed the penalty. I'm not getting fooled by none of that. You know what I mean? I've already got my score prediction for Real Madrid, Arsenal Real Madrid. I would have got my score prediction. I'll get into that on the match preview, which I'll do tomorrow. You know what I mean? I've got my score prediction. I've got a scoreline that I think will happen in the first leg. I see Arsenal winning the domestic cup next year and Arteta staying 4 more years to complete a decade. Imagine 4 more years of this guy. But I mean, if he wins a trophy, he's guaranteed to stay anyway. None of them want the La Liga or something. Bill Sociedad can score 4 goals, so can Arsenal. You see, it don't work like that, though, does it? You know what I mean? For example, Tottenham and Man United smashed Everton for 4. We've scored 1 goal in 2 games past them. You know what I mean? I see Arsenal. Oh, see now already. I know what you mean about Kiwior, but he's not facing better source concerns. Yeah, I mean there is two bit of concern with Kiwior's defending, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit deluded in thinking, you know, Kiwior can change, sort of thing. Maybe I'm deluding myself like that. You know what I mean? Also, hands forgetting Real Madrid got all their players back for Tuesday. Oh no, pray for Madrid. In fact, no, I'll do it. I'll do it for the match preview. I'll change the subheader to pray for pray for Madrid. But all I've seen is man crying about Liverpool getting gifted a league title through the refs, and we need to stop this now. You know what I mean? You got man like Bavs. He's one that's I replied to some of his stuff actually. Oh yeah, how he reposted how Liverpool won the Premier League, and it shows Michael Oliver and Arsenal players surrounding him. Yeah, let me hold on. Let me I'll share my screen actually. Let me share my screen. Kiwior his pants. I don't want to give up on him completely. Big up to you anyways, Kurt. AFT back at it again. Gabriel, the centre back, will be back for the final. What are they saying that are they trying to say if we get to the Champions League final that Gabriel will be back for then? Let's just say we get to the Champions League final and Gabriel could be back for that final. I wouldn't start him. But you know who will start him? Especially because we know what we know will happen. Yeah. What we know will happen is if the scenario plays out that Arsenal get to the Champions League final, yeah, and it turns out that Gabriel can come back for that game, like he's fit enough to play that game, at least half of it, right? And Kiwior is found his form. Pochettino 2.0. That's what it'll be. Now let's have a look at this. Let me scroll down actually. Scroll down. So how Liverpool won the Premier League. So this is how Liverpool won the league. Yeah. So as you can see here, I replied at the bottom here. Rice red card versus Brighton. Never seen it again. That to be honest, you know, I ain't gonna lie. When I saw Rice get the red card for just flicking it, just toe poking the ball, and then I think it was a Liverpool player, someone who did it like the day after, the week after, and got nothing. Yeah, you know, I ain't gonna lie, that's fucked us off. Saliba Pen versus Brighton, never seen it again. Skelly Pen today, never seen it again. How much more can we accept? Okay. So how much more of winning nothing under Arteta should we as fans accept? Obviously, I'm not going to get a reply. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get a reply. I ask the tough questions. You know what I mean? This is why I'm not going to be liked in this space. Yeah. Big up to Nick. He said, do more in your games, lad, which I liked. You know what I mean? Do more in your games. And this is what I've been saying. If we were doing levels, right, little shit like that might not matter. Why is it always a tight game? And then shit like this, you know what I mean? Gabriel Saliba in the team, I thought we could at least keep respectable scoreline against Madrid despite a loss, but now Gabriel, I think we could get Pam, not gonna lie. I know it feels to have a toxic positive fans in our fan base. I can see it more now, see it more than ever now that my team is shit. What's AC Milan doing these days? Where are they the table? And I don't know what's going on in Italy. I honestly don't. Based on how we're playing as well. That penalty was what Everton got, wasn't a penalty in my opinion. Yeah, I don't really think it was, but I see them get given. And if it happened to us and we were 1-0 down, we'll be crying about it. We should have got a penalty. So it's one of them. That's why I'm not crying about it, because if we're 1-0 down at home and that happens to us, we're crying for a penalty. I mean, that's just as simple as that. What's VAR doing, giving that penalty? Well, you know what I mean? You can't trust it's just one of them, innit? See the whole blaming refs. Just play better debate is where I'm in the middle, because my thing is two things can be true. Yeah, that's true. Should have some water in here, man. That's true. But every time these dodgy decisions or whatever, it's always a tight game. Like one goal in it, or it's an even game. And it's like when we're stinking out the place is when these goofy things happen. Notice how we're 5-0 up and we don't get this bullshit. When we're 5-0 up, 4-0 up, 3-0 up, there's never a case of that team got a penalty against us they should never have got. It's always a 1-0, 1-1, losing 2-1, or shit like that. A game where we're just stinking out the gaff. You know what I mean? But I do think there's some goofiness with these officials. Yeah, I definitely do. But I'm holding the players' feet to the fire. You know what I mean, I'm the manager. I gave Arteta credit when he made certain changes in certain games, and it paid off. Now I'm on his ass. Pause. Because I'm looking at, why did you make those two subs at half time for a start? What are you playing at? You know what I mean? The Italian Man United. They're taking the piss out of us refs are. I do believe that they are, you know, messing us about. But at the same time, like we can't act like we haven't got any benefits of the doubts either, kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's why I try not to focus too much on the refs of this, the refs of that, and everything like that. Because, you know, I like I said before, I said it last year. I was the year before. Everybody's gonna get fucked by VAR. It's just a matter of when it's your turn. You know what I mean? When is it gonna be your turn? Crazy that we can end up with 2 domestic trophies this season, 1 the Super Cup and we're in the semis of the cup. At least you lot are doing something. Just like Man United. I mean, they've come off the back of winning 2 trophies in 2 seasons, and are still in the Europa League. Got more chance of winning that than we have Champions League. You know what I mean? Chelsea got more chance of winning Europa Conference than we have the Champions League. In fact, I'd put Aston Villa ahead of us to win the Champions League. Looking at the way Villa are playing, they look more like that team where it's like, you know what? Like, there's no pressure on us. Like, nobody says we have to do it. We're not supposed to do it. But let's go out and play. You know what I mean? Villa look more like they're going to do it than us. And that sickens me. That really does sicken me. We're still shit though, no attacking flair. That's the thing. And who thought it was who was the guy that thought I don't really need to bolster their attack too much? Super Tets. Super Tets thought it was a good idea to not bother with the attack. What I don't like about football fans is when it comes to this debate, I feel like both sides love to gaslight us. The blaming refs gang forgets that we're still shit and they do better, lot miss the point. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we can't expect players to be perfect every single game. We can't. We can't expect them to be perfect. But when we're shit, when we have those games where we're not on it today, when we're not really, you know, because we've seen plenty of times where Arsenal are on form and there's that one game in the middle where it's like we just haven't turned up. It's those games this goofiness happens. It'll be those games. It just happens to be when, because we can play shit and not get any goofiness from the officials happen. But when the games not going our way or we're just narrowly winning, it's a tight game, some goofiness happens. This is why this is my thing. This is why I'm worried about Skelly. And I'm worried about Real Madrid. I'm not worried about Real Madrid because they'll necessarily smoke us because of the players that they've got. I'm more worried about if it's not going their way. You know what I mean? I remember when we beat Barcelona 2-1 at the Emirates when Arshavin scored the winner. And then we went there and we lost 3-1? No, wait, hold on. Yeah, 3-1 because Messi scored a hat-trick. That put them 4 up. We scored 1. Yeah, so we lost 4-3 in aggregate. Because I remember Bentner, before, like, round about that period, Bentner was giving it that, I'm the man, I'm the striker. I consider myself world class. And then he had a chance. If he'd have scored to make it 3-2 instead of us being 3-1 behind, we'd have gone through on away goals. But he missed it. You know what I mean? I think we were 3-1 down at the time. And he missed that chance. That's the game Van Persie got sent off, by the way. Right? He missed it. If he'd have scored it, we'd have gone through because of the away goals at the time. You know what I mean? But I remember the game wasn't going Barca's way, really. You know what I mean? We scored a goal there. That's an away goal. Having already took the lead at home. And then, Van Persie volleys the ball or whatever, kicks the ball, and the ref says, no, you kicked it away, I'm sending you off. We've never seen that before. You know what I mean? That's that shit I'm worried about. Because Real Madrid, them Spanish teams out there, man, they're just a load of and shit don't go their way. That's what I'm worried about. And then when I look at Skelly, I'm thinking to myself, you might touch. Wait. So who plays on the right for Real Madrid? Whoever plays on the right, that's who Skelly's gonna have to deal with. Yeah. Trust me, I'm worried about that more than anything. If it's tight, if it gets tight, there's only 1 goal in it. It might look like Arsenal might do something. But that's my worry. You can keep Walker also, Andy. He's there permanently anyway, isn't he? Because I do believe Arsenal fans got to stop crying about draw a line somewhere because it comes across like we're trying to sign anyone who calls out bad officiating. Yeah, like it's one of those things. It's kind of. I don't want to not mention them, but I don't want to mention them too much because it's like, needs to be Malcolm in the middle. Same time, I also got to take accountability. Yeah, always when it's close. Antonio Rudiger versus Saka will be interesting. Oh yeah, Saka, yeah, because we know he's starting this game. You know what I mean? He's back to start these games. So if we Champions League's all we've got now. So Arteta's going to throw everything at it because we ain't doing anything in the league now. Liverpool could lose today. Then it's a case of, well, if we'd have beaten Everton, it could have been 9 points instead of 11. I mean, but here's what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna cut it short here. I was gonna put a link for you to come up and talk, but I've got some things to do today. Well, I think I might do some FIFA streaming before I go out today. I might do that. So I might just I might do that straight after. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back for the match preview of the Arsenal versus Real Madrid. I was 16 years old the last time these two played competitively. Jesus. Yep, fully on Arteta. But yeah, anyways, I'll be back for the match preview. I don't know if I'll do it live because I'm not gonna be at home. But yeah, we'll because I do want to make the match. I do want to communicate with you guys for the match preview of the Champions League. So hopefully, if I'm somewhere where I've got a decent connection, I can just chuck the link in the chat and y'all can click it and you can talk to me, and then we can talk about the upcoming match against Real Madrid and make that match preview interesting. You know what I mean? But I'll give you my score prediction. Well, you'll see it when I post the Mortal Kombat versus. You'll see what my score prediction is on there. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
And if anyone wants to have a come at me,
come and find me. I'm in the car park now.
Because I'm a black belt in karate.
Stop the cap.
Come and have a pop.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.